The economy had really no significant impact. We still have to provide services to the students, and in fact, our student population in the last couple of years since the change in the funding formula has increased over 300 students. So we're in the situation where by the state, there's less funding coming to cover more students. We did several years, the last couple of years, we've done a number of things to cut expenses. And you can listen and see those detailed in some of our other presentations. But they've gone all the way to the point where we're, in fact, even charging teachers that have to have refrigerators in their room with the electricity they use. But we've reached the point that we can no longer continue to cut costs. I mean, we've got to not only cut costs that are there, we're having to stretch ourselves because our utility bills, healthcare bills, et cetera, continue to go up. So it's not only cutting costs, it's trying to compensate for those reductions in costs. Now, Mike Schaefer is going to give a detailed analysis of some of the items out there that have been floating around regarding understandings of how cash flush are we, the fact that we do or don't need the referendum. The only further introductory comment I will make is we also don't have the luxury of having hindsight or the benefit of going all the way up to see where ultimate funding is to make some of these decisions. Our single largest factor that is an expense for us, 70% of our costs go to the classroom teachers, or the teachers or the aides, or the people that directly contact the children. And you take utilities and a few other costs that are really almost inflexible, what we do to control it. Our single most significant cost is the cost of educating your students in the classroom. Well, the issue we get into is contractually, if we want to make any adjustment in that headcount, we have to notify the teachers May 1st of this year, even though and if we don't, we've got the obligation to carry and pay those teachers all the way through August of 2012. So we evaluated the need for the referendum. We have to use as much good information as we can and fast forward and look forward to see what our needs are going to be. I'll make one other quick comment. There's a little bit of misconception. I see a lot of huge numbers being thrown around. They're cumulative numbers of the potential maximum effect of the referendum. The reality is the way the process works is the referendum, if it passes, will add the budgetary amount that's indicated at 29.5 cents per hundred to our budget for next year. But each and every year we reestablish the budget and evaluate the need for it. So in fact, it's not 170 referendum where you're going to be charged all that amount. It's 7 one-year budgetary analysis to determine what we need, which can never exceed the maximum that's been indicated. So it's a complex area. I will ask you one last thing as we begin to go through this. Nobody likes to pay taxes. Everybody's natural inclination is to say, I don't want my taxes raised, there must be something wrong. I would really ask that you keep as open a mind as possible. And there's no personal benefit to any of us up here having a taxpayer. I have my taxes raised just like everybody else. But as indicated in the introductory comment, we've got to be focused on the children. And if I'm going to be conservative and guess and do my best to estimate where we're headed using all the skills I've got for all my years as a CPA, attorney, and school board member, I have no choice in my mind but to estimate and be conservative and give deference to the children. And I respect the taxpayers and what they do, but I think the investment in the children is going to be well worth it. So with that kind of overview of my mind how we got here, I'm going to go ahead at this point in time and turn it over to Mark Engler, a former board member and also a business person from his perspective.
Thank you, Rob. As Rob said, I'm Mark Engler. My wife Nancy and I are 25-year residents in Zionsville and first-year empty nesters. I served on the school board for 12 years and prior to that I was a member of the Zionsville Planning Commission. While I was preparing my remarks for this evening, it occurred to me how fortunate all of us are to have the privilege of debating something that would preserve the high quality of our schools and community rather than debating whether to provide funds to attempt to regain what we lost. Many school districts and other communities in the state and outside of the state would love to be in our position. For the last 25 years or so, I've been involved in investment real estate, primarily the development of multifamily properties, and I'm a principal in a large property here in Zionsville, which happens to be a member of the Chamber of Commerce. If the referendum does pass, it will affect me personally as well as in business. I don't want to pay any more taxes than anyone else, just as anyone else in the audience, as Rob said. But my experience as an investor and school board member convinces me that the success of the referendum will benefit not only those with children in the school, but all of us as homeowners and business owners. When making property investment decisions, one of the absolute first things that I look at is the strength and quality of the local school system. Granted, my type of business may be more directly dependent upon having strong schools than others, but vibrant schools with community support establish a firm foundation for any type of investment in the community. Support of local schools indicates overall community pride and signals that property values will not only be preserved, but also enhanced. Obviously, most people know that good schools preserve and enhance the value of their homes. Many might not know intuitively that it is strong schools that also preserve and enhance the value of most non-residential real estate. By attracting additional business investment and rooftops that contain customers for local businesses, it helps everyone in the community in business. I think that Dax Norton, the Executive Director of the County Redevelopment Commission, and possibly Dr. Ann Leeson Royalty, an economics professor at IUPUI, I believe they may be in the audience this evening. Both of them give the opportunity to provide objective data and can speak to how important strong schools are to businesses and communities. As I said earlier, we are all fortunate to be debating the fate of one of the top-ranked school systems, even in the face of continued increases in enrollment and a reduction in general funding that has dropped us to the bottom 15% of all schools in Indiana. The debate about the wisdom of past decisions to limit economic and business growth in our community is beyond the scope of tonight's discussion. However, the simple fact is that our total assessed valuation is approximately 91% residential. This, coupled with the state-created disparity between property tax caps for residential and commercial property, means that in contrast to other communities, in Zionsville, the burden of all public funding is borne disproportionately by homeowners and the relatively few businesses that are located here. Everyone has a lot of skin in the game. I know we will be hearing interpretations of the financial data from both sides. However, amid all of the interpretation and crunching, do not lose sight of the two very basic reasons for why we are here. School funding was taken away from local control, and Zionsville's share of the state goal is decreasing. Fewer and fewer of our tax dollars are returning to our community. The governor and the legislature knew the potential consequences of their decision to take school funding out of local control. In doing so, they created a referendum process, which at least to some extent allows the community to control its own fate. I will ask you to listen objectively to both sides tonight. In doing so, I believe you will hear some things that may persuade you to view the success of the referendum as an investment, not only for the good of the community and our children, but also for the good of your business. Scott?
Thanks, Mark. Hi, I'm Scott Robinson, Superintendent of Schools. Thanks to the Chamber and Mr. Cassidy for this opportunity this evening. Our panel is Rob Winger, who is a CPA and an attorney by training. He's partnered with the international accounting firm Ernst & Young. He's been consistently selected by the Indiana Chamber of Commerce as one of the top 10 CPA business tax advisors in Indiana. He's a strong supporter of our firm. Mark Engler is an economist, an entrepreneur, and an attorney, a local school board member for 12 years. Mike Schaefer is a certified public accountant and CFO of our school system. He's a former state board of accounts auditor, a taxpayer in Zionsville, and American CCS graduate like the other gentleman. This referendum is about our students. It's about the school district and the community and the future of all three of these. Our responsibility as CCS leaders is to protect and sustain educational services for the community's youth. Mike Schaefer is renowned throughout Indiana for his work in school finance. This complex, heavily regulated realm has multiple simultaneously dynamic funds with interactions that always span multiple years. Mr. Schaefer has completed in impressive fashion more than 15 comprehensive Indiana school budgets. He is sought out by Indiana school leaders on matters of budget and a frequent contributor in various county and regional circles on matters of government finance and accounting. Our usual operating referendum PowerPoint is on the shelf tonight. Given that the school opposition groups discrediting Mr. Schaefer and our CCS leaders, the district budget, and our statement of need for the operating fund equilibrium in the face of structural change in Indiana school funding is in play. Mr. Schaefer's deep understanding of the complex school funding realm is a local asset of inestimable value. His nuanced grasp of school funding projections and related information is unparalleled anywhere in Indiana. Mike?
Thank you.